good day and you're welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Blue Table Talk Show. This is the migration program that helps Nigerians make informed decisions. Today on the program, we have an exciting and interesting lineup of people who will be talking about different aspects of finding a community of support for your migration plans as well as local opportunities. I have with me in the studio today Mrs. Bose Agri, who is the founder and executive director of the Web of Hearts Foundation. I have as well Marie Johnson, who has successfully been able to create a life in Nigeria as an entrepreneur who is involved in different aspects of the entrepreneurial chain. And I also have as well Udell Tony, who is a manager with Genius Hub Global Initiative Nigeria. But before we go on today on this interesting topic of finding a community of support for migration plans and local alternatives, let's watch Miko Banti on the streets of Lagos as he asks young Nigerians what they have for migration plans and whether they think there are any successful local alternatives. Thank you. We'll be back after the break.
Who don't get plan to Japan? Because you know it's you to go there, come back empty-handed. Some say their land, their property before they Japan.
As long as they come back, you have to embrace them back and make them know that it's not all about going out that matters, but it's about staying home, building the homes together.
So we're seeing Miko Banti on the streets of Lagos, and we're going to ask Mrs. Bose Agri, who's going to tell us a bit about the extent of her organization's support for Nigerian migrants. So Mrs. Agri, what would you say Web of Hearts Foundation has done? A little bit about what you've done for migrants and why you were even initially created.
Okay, thank you, my darling sister and friend, Anita. I'm glad to be here. As one who has worked in the migration space since 2011. And we have been focusing more on migrants from 2013. Of course, also been membership of a lot of migration-related organizations and frameworks. Web of Hearts Foundation is an organization that is mainly involved in the reintegration and resettlement and rehabilitation of returning migrants, internally displaced persons, marginalized youths and women. And in the migration space, we operate as an organization working in partnership with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, where we offer sheltering. We do have a shelter, which is called the Migrant Reintegration Center, which is basically for return migrants when they return and they do not have accommodation immediately. So we offer them temporary accommodation, which can last for 90 days. And then, of course, we also, within the shelter, we do have empowerment trainings and capacity building trainings in terms of vocational trainings, entrepreneurial training, psychosocial support, which is one of our huge points of intervention to deal with the trauma issues of these persons of concern. And of course, we do have a mentoring program, which is huge also in terms of sustainability of the reintegration of the returning migrants. Working, of course, in partnership with all other international local organizations to manage migration optimally.
Well, Mrs. Agri, I must say that your organization and yourself is fully loaded and very, very packed. And while before we will delve into a lot of the work that you're doing with the Web of Hearts Foundation, I would like to say well done and thank you very much. So I'd like to ask you, Udell, you are with Genius Hub Global Initiative, and I know that from the little I know, which I will not say, I will let you do the talking about your organization. Could you give us a little introduction into Genius Hub, what it is that you're doing in the migration space, and the kind of interventions that your organization has conducted in this space?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization, and when it comes to migration, we go deep into the essence of supporting these return migrants and training them, to be better people in the society. We actually go into community-based intervention and art-based intervention. We reintegrate them, give them vocational trainings, and give them psychosocial support. Okay. We also go to the extent of upskilling them for those of them who already have skills. Okay, we upskill them and try to also set up these businesses for them. We go to the extent of which we group them and then give them this business mentorship support. We give them support based on
based on the needs that they have, or what it is based on your understanding. Thank you very much. I for me, the exciting part about today is that we're seeing before now the migration space was so different, but we're seeing in 2024 a lot of things that have gone on. Now, Mrs. Aggrey, I'd like to ask you, in your organization, how have you been able to, because one thing that is associated with migration, with returns, with readmission, is a lot of issues around cultural things, stigma, notions that society has. How have you been able to address the different aspects, such as the cultural differences in the returnees that come in, the traumatic experiences they've gone through already, and even the socio-economic backgrounds that they are coming from? How do you take all that into consideration when you are trying to address their psychosocial needs? Because we also understand that even in returns, we have people with different levels, where they are coming from, what brought them back, and even the educational level when they were there. How has people had successfully been able to address this when helping them in dealing with their psychosocial needs and reintegrating them?
Okay, like I said earlier on, one of the common issues to any return migrant is trauma. You have, I would say, 9 out of 10 persons who have trauma issues at different levels. So when they do come, we do an assessment, and based on a needs assessment done also, you are able to detect in which areas they do have these challenges.
Okay.
And one thing common to returning migrants, I would say even globally, is discrimination. Because people do not understand where they're coming from, why they're coming from where they're coming, and why they have to come at this time. And that includes the society, and it includes the families.
Very true.
So they're dealing with the discrimination that says, especially in Nigeria, they say, he has gone to prostitute, or he has gone to sell his body, and that's why he's coming back now. And then people don't want to mind them.
That's true.
And then, of course, again, because they think it's a shame to their families who have been boasting that my son is abroad. He's going to buy me a house, buy me a car. And then he comes back in chains, empty-handed, or just with one little prison bag, dehumanized, debased, with so much undignified stories. So we deal with their trauma issues, granting them psychosocial support. Also, in terms of culture, we have to look at diversity and inclusion. You must harness on their diversity. So we give them cultural based trainings. We give them trauma-informed care. Okay. So that one, about yourself, about the other person. You know that we are both different, but we all have common issues. And the issue that we need to be resettled back in. So people have to understand the diversity of culture, the diversity of religion, the diversity of their personal beliefs or their cultural beliefs. That is taken into account. So we have sessions within our confines where we have talks. We have table talk here today. We also have me and you talk.
Okay,
you understand, where you share your own experience, I share my own experience, and then my likes and dislikes. So from the beginning, people are aware, of how to deal with the other person. And sometimes they find a common place. So we also form peer groups, so where they can also influence themselves. And we have a huge program called Mentoring the Mentee, where mentees are connected to mentors in their areas of challenge, also in their areas of strength. So you gain strength from somebody who has, you gain strength from where you are weak, and you give strength where you are strong. So that happens within our confines. So before you know it, they build a sense of worth, and then they develop a sense of safety and trust. Because until a returnee can trust you, he cannot talk to you. Anthony, the returnee can trust you and feel safe. It cannot reign within your confines and not
Very
be
true.
a problem.
Very
So,
true.
so that's why trauma healing is key in any intervention whatsoever to migrant returnees. And the communities must be sensitized, educated, and be made aware of the potency of these return migrants.
Mm.
We must make them see good in them. We must make them receive them wholeheartedly. And that is key for the community. Community advocacy, community sensitization is important because they're not going to remain in the shelter forever.
That's
They're
very
going to
true.
go back to their families, back to the society. So you
Mhm.
need the society to be able to receive them
And
as
accept
persons of worth, as persons of dignity, as persons who are entitled to their human rights of movement, of speech, of good living.
Wow. Thank you so much. I can see here that Web of Heart Foundation is intentional about how they're integrated. And if you're still listening to us, which I'm sure you are, we are still on the Blue Table Talk show. My name is Eni Tobironke and I'm the host for the program. And you have been hearing Mrs. Bosse Agre of the Web of Heart Foundation talk about a community of support for returned migrants and how a lot of work has been going on and is still going on in ensuring that when migrants return back home, they are not left adrift. So, Udell, I would like to ask you about the work that Genius Hub is doing. You mentioned that you're a human capital development organization, even though you're operating in the non-profit space. Now, what I would like to ask is that, are there any vocational trainings or any sort of skills trainings that you have offered to return migrants? And if there are, do you want to share some light on the kind of work you're doing with them?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Are you dreaming of a brighter future? Are you planning to japa? We know the world is calling. We know you want to leave Nigeria at all costs. But before you go, have you heard of the Migrant Project? We provide free counseling services on the risks of irregular migration to help you understand the challenges of life in European countries if you plan to japa wrongly, either by road or sea. Guess what? We also provide support, referrals, and access to some local alternatives for jobs, skills training, and mental health support. Our counselors are here to empower you to have more agency in your migration decision-making. Call these hotlines to speak with our counselors. This is a 100% free, individualized, and anonymous service. Edo State 0816-529-8860. Lagos State 0813-777-0863. 0814-783-5852. You can also follow us on Facebook at The Migrant Project and The Migrant Project Lagos. Choose the path of hope. Don't risk your life. Stay home and thrive. This message is brought to you by the Migrant Project Nigeria.
I would like to start by saying before any return migrant starts training with us, they first of all go through our life skill training. Okay, first of all, so we'll get to know their emotions. Okay, we'll get to know what they are dealing with. Okay, and with regards to our vocational training, we have over 30 different vocational skills that we take through. Like presently, we just started implementing the AI generated fashion. Okay, whereby they get to understand the use of technology in building fashion. We have the leather works, shoemaking, bag making, okay, anything that relates to upholstery. Okay, we try to teach them these things, okay, so that they can know how to utilize these skills. We also teach them on ICT, okay, the ICT that covers both graphics design, okay, US and UI design, that's product design.
Yes.
We also train them on skills like CCTV installation, AC installation, stuff like that, to help them broaden their capacity.
So, Mrs. Agre, how have you been able to address these challenges and how do you plan to address future ones?
Well, like they say, life will not be life without challenges. So we live daily surmounting them.
Yes.
The challenges for us as CSOs is because you have chosen that another person's problem is your problem.
Hmm.
And like some family members will say, you are posting that another person for me will kill you.
Oh God, you'll be supported, you'll be strengthened.
Because now they see you as you're not resting, you're going back and forth, making sure that you are creating solution and taking away pain. It's not easy to do that because one, you need to be emotionally balanced, psychologically balanced.
Right.
To be able to even hear some of the stories these children, sorry I call them children, but these returnees or these persons of concern tell you upon their return. There are gruesome stories that sometimes we should not repeat them at all. A lot of humanization, dehumanization, a lot of very, very monstrous experiences that they have gone through. So there are some of the challenges that we have because then you're dealing with them, we carry so much burden, so much pain, you know, so on the inside. And you're telling this person, I have a solution. But you're not sure. But first of all, you have to build hope. You have to build trust. You have to ensure that they are safe. You have to also ensure that they don't die under your watch. Because suicide is a very great propensity for many of them. Many of them want to just end it because they do not see an end in it. Because they are in death bondage. They are in the shame of returning to the family with nothing. So so those are the challenges we have with them, dealing with them even as persons, for them to be able to first of all just be normal now. Some can stay in shelter for 2 weeks, they're not talking to nobody. And you're still trying to think, you are your psychologist, you're thinking how do I get this person sort of be okay, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so you're also looking at God, we do a needs assessment. So you look at individual persons. God has a holistic approach in our psychosocial support services. So it's one-on-one.
Yes.
And then you know what needs this person has. So you can imagine when we have a diversity of needs.
Oh wow.
With people from different cultural backgrounds. With people with low education. Because one thing that is common to these returnees is that many of them are not very highly educated. They are between a primary, no education or secondary. Just a handful, and I need it pitched in the tertiary stage. So first of all, you're also dealing with their IQ, you're dealing with their intellectual base, so in order to get them to understand things, you have to deploy all manner of methodologies to reach them. But I tell you, the love approach, it wins it all.
Fantastic.
Once we come and when we show them love, we create safety and protection around them, we have them good to go.
Fantastic.
So they take part in the trainings, in psychosocial support services. They take part in the vocational trainings that we have for them, in the entrepreneurial trainings, the financial literacy, the business development trainings, capacity building, acculturizing into a new environment and all of that. Yes. Those are issues. And then for us, you need funds to be able to work all that. We need increased sheltering for these persons of concern. So that those who don't want to come, we have somebody who has been with us for 4 years. Wow. Because the parents have said, don't come home. And you, madam, since you need more children, and have your children. And somebody been with us for 4 years. You understand? Wow. So we need sheltering. We need support. We need the society to be able to see that there is more need for these persons of concern. And so people should deploy financing. We need the government also.
Yes, definitely.
Donations.
Very true.
So that, more people are encouraged to give into charity.
Thank you. Wow, thank you, Mrs. Agri. That's quite a lot. When we started with challenges, the extent of the challenges that you enumerated are a lot. But I like something you said, love as a strategy and the intervention and support of everyone, including government. Mrs. Agri, how do people access you? Because I know that you've been doing a lot of work since 2013. And I know personally that I have seen you on every space in migration I've been in, and your work has preceded you. I heard about you and your work before I even met you. But the people who are the real audience and who are listening now would want to also know. And I would like to ask Maria afterwards about that. This information, because I remember she was saying here that I didn't even know that you existed like this. I can imagine how many more people that can benefit from what it is that is being done that don't know. So how do we access you?
Thank you, Nathan. We're more in Lagos than anywhere else. And I would say proudly that we can be reached throughout the nation. Yes. And we also have, partners abroad who make referrals to us, course, we collaborate to attend to this returning migrants.
That I can attest to about because I know I heard about you even from somebody coming from one of the European countries. Yes.
So we're in Lagos and we're in the Lekki axis. If you go online, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, see our programs there, activities there. You'll also see how you can locate us with phone numbers and with some addresses are there. If you want to just type Web of Hearts Foundation,
Fantastic.
Online, it will give you the references which you need to be able to reach us.
Fantastic.
But I would say that there's no distance for us once there is a need. If it's a returning migrant, especially, and then internally displaced persons, we're passionate to reach them with our hand of solution.
That's fantastic.
At all times.
Well done. Thank you so much, Mrs. Agrit and Udell. Morire, I would like to ask you as we draw the curtains onto this episode, what would you say is the most successful thing? How would you say being back here in 2021 right now, what would you say is the most successful part of your reintegration into society?
First of all, I would say I took into the CSO aspect in the sense that I and a colleague of mine, we kind of built an organization where return migrants. You know how it's said that you can only relate with who is going through or has gone through what you will go through. So we have like WhatsApp group and small communities where we return migrants come together and assess maybe things they offer for us like this, and then maybe if there's somebody that's having an information about this thing, if you have what it takes to like go and get this training done or go and get this thing done so that you can get. So that has like helped us build more of our capacities around us that are return migrants ourselves. So, and then we try to like, I try to like do one-on-one mentoring.
Okay.
Also, last year, the return migrant that came in November, and I have opportunity to meet some of them, and then from there we built this trust support where they can come and just be themselves and talk about their day-to-day activities, what they are going through that day, what they are feeling like as challenges for them. And even me, I'm surprised and amazed, and I'm telling myself, oh man.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well done, Marie. So do you have a name for this, your budding organization, or is just, what is it called?
It's called FAIR, Founder Taking Action Against Irregular Migration.
Fantastic.
Yes, that's.
Do you want to call it again? And do you have social media handles?
Yes, we are on Facebook.
Okay.
Foundation Taking Action Against Irregular Migration. FAIR.
Fantastic. So there we have it today on this episode of the Blue Table Talk. We have discovered that indeed there is a community of support for your migration plans, for your reintegration, for your readmission, and the local alternatives that exist here in Nigeria. And as we said by one of my guests, migration is your human right. But if you must migrate, do it the right way. Till we come to your screen again, this is the Blue Table Talk Show. My name is Eniton Ibironke, and I have had a pleasant time with Mrs. Bose Agrit of the Web of Heart Foundation, Morire Johnson, who is also a budding CSO founder herself, and Udell Tony, who's the manager for Genius Hub Global Initiative Lagos. Thank you. Keep watching the Blue Table Talk Show.
Share you the dream of a brighter future. I be you the plan to Japa. We not say the word they call you. We not say you won't leave Nigeria by all means. But before you go, share you don't hear of the migrant project. We they give free counseling service so that you no go enter wahala if you want Japa. And we go also help you understand of the small wahala where they for these European countries, whether you plan to Japa by road or by sea. Share you know say we they also provide support, or we they refer people to get access to some local jobs, skill training, and mental health support. Our counselors also there to help you know the things where you need to know before you leave this country. Make you call this hotline if you want to talk to any of our counselors. For Edo State, make you call 081-652-98862. And for Lagos State, make you call 081 3777 0863 or 081 478 35852. Make you know say you fit also follow us for Facebook at The Migrant Project or The Migrant Project Lagos. Make you choose the better part of Oppo. No risk your life. Stay home to make am. Now The Migrant Project Nigeria, now bring on this message.